So you want to play the best support, huh? Well, that means you're looking forward to having your teammates endlessly spam need healing over and over again as they run away from you and towards the entire enemy team to die. In all seriousness, supports are like the spine of a team fight and a team. When they succeed, everyone stands tall, and if they fail, the entire plan collapses. If you're new to the game or a veteran and just want to know how it is, here's my breakdown of who are the best support champions in Paladins. This list will be taking the approach of an esport high-level draft, breaking down the pros of each champion and why they fall short in terms of priority from one another. Though a lot of familiar names will be on this list, the order and some of the choices may surprise you. So make sure you watch and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Right before we get into the list, I'd like to give a big shout out to Liquid Sky for asking to sponsor another video on the channel. They saw the response last time and wanted to get involved again and support us here at Raynday Gaming, so show them some love, guys. As I mentioned before, Liquid Sky is all about helping you to engage in high-end gaming with their cloud PC. It's really simple. Liquid Sky allows you to run your favorite games off of Steam, Battle.net, Origin, etc. in the cloud, all while giving you a high-end PC gaming experience. A lot of people play on the go on laptops and don't have the best internet all the time, and Liquid Sky could really be a potential opportunity for you to have a better gameplay experience overall when you're playing Paladins, Smite, or any other game that you enjoy. And of course, without having to spend a couple $1,000s on a new computer. Trust me, money doesn't grow on trees. I get you there. So if you're thinking about upgrading or just want a better gameplay experience, you can try Liquid Sky out for free today and see if it's for you. So again, big thanks to Liquid Sky for sponsoring the video. You can check them out in the link in the description below and let me know what you all think. And now, the #1 best healer in all of Paladins is...
Oh, hey, excuse me, Mr. Raynday. Just wanted to make sure you remembered people were a little upset that you went 1 to 5 last time. Maybe you want to just start with the worst and work your way up?
You know what, Jimmy? You got some gusto. Thanks for the advice. Let's kick this off the normal way and begin with our #5 best healer in Paladins, Grohk. Grohk no heal, Grohk do damage. Grohk has been plagued with an entirely unique set of circumstances as a healer, as his main introduction into the Paladins esports meta was a result of his insanely powerful crowd control and damage from his legendary Maelstrom. And although it's not as strong, it's still quite good. Allowing Grohk to reset his shock pulses and consistently control the pace of a fight was a terror on smaller maps, or against compositions that included Ying, Barrack, or Torvald, as their deployables and often lack of mobility made them easy and consistent targets. Though Grohk was a first pick not too long ago, he has fallen from grace and is now considered to fulfill an entirely different role in most teams' eyes. In a meta with lots of crowd control on the battlefield, Grohk's Totemic Ward legendary is equipped to negate all kinds of aggression and help sway the momentum of a fight. With Totemic Ward granting CC immunity and increasing his healing output by 50%, Grohk can work well against Inara, Seris, Maldamba, Bomb King, Combustible Drogos, or even Makoa-oriented compositions, which makes him an excellent pocket strategy in times of need. Unfortunately, Grohk suffers from a few key issues that don't allow him to rise farther than 5th. His healing is mediocre, even with 50%, unless you fully build a deck around it. This results in him losing that precious damage output and a lot of his control. It's also localized healing, meaning it can only happen right next to him, whereas Seris, Maldamba, and many other healers can hide or stay in cover while healing. Grohk has to go to the fray to find his teammates and support them, making him much more susceptible to damage, cauterize, and even more. Coordinated 2 to 3 tank teams can take advantage of clumping on a small map with Grohk as a main healer, but in the majority of games, he takes on the role as a secondary support option. With no vertical movement, localized healing, and with players having to choose either lots of damage or lots of healing, but not both, Grohk and the Smork army comes in at #5 for today as a pocket pick with potential. Coming in at #4, Ying. Ying is bae. She's waifu, and this is probably surprising you that she's coming in 4th on my list of best healers in Paladins. I mean, Raynday, are you kidding me? Ying is by far the best healer in the game. How can you put her as 4th? For those of you who are thinking like that, I totally see where you're coming from. From a high-level perspective, let me break it down for you as to why Ying has fallen from grace. Ying is in a category of healers I would call main healers, and there are 2 others in that category, which I won't mention now. If you can get them, you could probably assume where they are on this list. Or maybe not. Let's keep things interesting. Main healers allow teams to get adequate healing that they need over the course of a game, and usually are able to do double, sometimes even triple, or maybe even quadruple the amount of healing a secondary healer can provide. This is the top 5 best supports in Paladins, and not the best healers though, which is why you find yourself at 4th if you're a Ying player, despite maybe being able to output the most healing on a consistent basis over any other healer in the game. Over the course of several consistent nerfs to Ying, professional players stopped favoring her, but it's not like she's become a bad choice. She just became simply not the best choice, and probably not the second best choice either, which is why she's put into a weird state of not really being played. Because only 2 teams face off against each other at the same time, if there are 2 main, consistently better healers, why would the third even see game time? Leading up to Valencia, Ying has been played maybe once or twice in high-res competitive esports, which is a telling sign. Not necessarily of how good Ying is, but how valuable some of the other healers are. Ying brings a ton of healing to the fight, and with resonance and focusing lens can also contribute damage. But where she severely lacks that the other supports have in copious amounts is crowd control. Ying doesn't have one form of crowd control or CC immunity in her kit, and so in North America and Europe, she has largely been left by the wayside. Coming in at number 3 is Grover. Now, Grover takes the 3rd spot for a lot of reasons. He's kind of the talk of the town right now with the significant buffs he's received in OB53. I talked about that in my last video. And also a bug fix in OB52 that allowed cooldown reduction cards based on eliminations to impact the entire duration of a cooldown for the skill and not just the remaining duration left on the cooldown. Due to the fact that Grover doesn't have to reload, getting eliminations are a lot more feasible with this playstyle, and that's going to help him take advantage of those cards in a more consistent way throughout his games. At the end of the day, Grover is a very fun champion to play and can compete with other champions for damage and ranged presence, which is a lot for a team. Something that even other supports, even the top supports, can't quite say. Grover fulfills a niche role, which is why he's a pocket pick that can not only help your team's range capabilities, but also contribute to lockdown, with his Deep Root's legendary choice allowing his crippling throw to not only cripple, but root as well. Although Grover is fun, helps to fulfill a niche and very valuable role, and can be devastating in the right combination, it's going to be very hard for him to take the 1 or 2 healer position overall in high-level esports. The reason being is you need enough healing to compete with the other team, and Grover's number outputs from a healing perspective just don't take the cake. Part of this is because he suffers from localized healing just like Grohk. It becomes harder for him to get good healing off towards the end of the game with cauterized 3s on most champions. Not to mention that his playstyle is a little awkward where you're kind of maximizing your damage by staying away from people, but you're also maximizing your healing by getting into the fray of the fight very, very close to everybody else so you can keep them healed. However, his ultimate has now gotten CC immunity and can be cancelled, meaning you can go into it to avoid a big burst or a stun and pop right back out or keep healing as you see fit. In a meta that currently favors crowd control, this gives Grover a lot of flexibility as a champion, and albeit niche, still a very valuable role despite not being a main healer. For this reason, and because I think the perceptual buff to Grover was enough to change people's attitudes about him, I'm ranking him at number 3 in terms of the best healers in Paladins right now. Now it's time for number 2. Who will it be? Coming in as the number 2 best healer, it's the Oracle of the Abyss, Seris. Now, Seris makes up one of 2 main healers in Paladins at the moment. You will find that Seris, being played in every competitive game, is notorious for being one of the hardest healers to kill. Her ability to heal is almost unparalleled, and to keep up with her pace of frequent burst healing, there's really only one champion in the game that can match her step for step. Wonder who that could be. Her Mortal Reach legendary gives her incredible range and the ability to heal while staying out of the fight, meanwhile peppering the point with her soul orbs that can help create a good zoning tool or punish clumped up groups of enemies. From a safety or raw healing standpoint, Seris is about as good as it gets, and I would say is by far the least dying or the most survivable support in Paladins. But what brings Seris above Ying? They both do a good job at healing a lot of people very well. In my opinion, it's because Seris brings the strong wombo combo potential with her ultimate convergence. Having been buffed over the last few patches, many teams will prioritize Seris as a result of this ultimate and dynamic game-changing value it can have at any point in time. Although the bang for buck can be incredible when you hit this ultimate, it's also easy to completely whiff it, as we've seen the pros do in the past. But when you hit a good one, oh man, it's just so good. One of the reasons you'll find Seris at the number 2 position in this list is because she doesn't necessarily bring flexibility in her role. Her one form of crowd control is in her ultimate, but aside from that, she's a relative one-trick pony. Okay, more like a one-trick stallion or a one-trick racehorse. Either way, she's incredibly good at doing her trick. She heals, she hides, she throws her ultimate, she dominates a team fight. And because she's so survivable, this makes Seris a very safe pick and a very potentially rewarding pick, who can right-click and keep a tank healed up like the best of them. However, her number 2 position is even more cemented as a result of the upcoming nerfs to her shadow travel, increasing the cooldown from 12 to 14 seconds and reducing the time you get to stay invisible and damage immune from 5 to 4 seconds. Although she's got a projectile speed buff allowing players to confirm damage maybe a little bit easier, I still think this overall hurts one of Seris's main strengths and further gives me reason to put her at the number 2 spot and my number 1 at the number 1 spot. My snake likes you. If you haven't guessed by now, it's time for the number 1 best healer in Paladins, Maldamba. You know, I don't know if anyone was around for the Realm days, but I played a character. They had us dress up in the office. I played a character called Black Magic, and I talked like I was from a village and I was Maldamba's cousin. It was, you know, borderline extremely racist and very hilarious to say the least. Obviously, I'm a fun, cheery guy, so no one took too offense to it. But it brings me back to why we all love Maldamba. He's a very lively character. I mean, for crying out loud, what other FPS allows you to shoot with a snake? From design and playstyle, he's a fantastic and fun-loved champion who has been a staple of the top healers for a while now. As I've mentioned before, he is a high skill cap champion that allows players who are at the highest level to completely dominate a game. Not only that, his healing output is as good or better than everyone else, considering he has a right-click heal, which is 1500 every couple of seconds, and an AoE gourd he could throw on the ground, heal teammates with, hurt enemies with, and also use as crowd control with a 40% slow, taking the Ripen Gourd legendary, which is the premier legendary in the Paladins esports scene. All of that gets added on to complete damage immunity for a brief period of time, albeit, but it is still damage immunity to anything. A wildly devastating and game-changing ultimate that fears people off the map, disrupts a point fight, can be used to counter-initiate or initiate, even to solo ult a very important target, and a stun on his reload. Arguably the most important and impactful CC in a first-person shooter he has access to whenever he wants and can be utilized more and more the better you are as a player. You add this on top of the fact that he's got the highest DPS of any other support in Paladins if you consistently hit your shots, not including being able to stand on a gourd that's also damaging you, and this guy is dominating. It's not necessarily that he's got a bloated kit, but also for the fact that he's got love from all of the pros. Every single good pro I have seen in high-level Paladins esports knows how to play Maldamba, has made names for themselves on Maldamba, and consistently uses them as a comfort pick and also a standard top pick in the meta as a healer. By serving so many roles and functions, how can you say he isn't? Unless Maldamba is significantly nerfed in the upcoming patches, I don't see this changing for a while. But as old supports get buffed and new supports are added into the game, we may see a new top dog in the near future. Of course, you'll have to wait and stay tuned to all Paladins action, and the best place to do that right here on Raynday Gaming. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, hang out with me in the comments section, and of course, check out Liquid Sky, our sponsor for today's video again, and give them some love. As always, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you all next time.